our first topic today?
Man, since you mentioned, we wanted to get right into it. Why are our young men crashing out early to the graveyard and to the prisons?
Let's
First of
give our
all,
moment.
let's
Yes.
give our moment
We
of
said at
time.
the same time.
Yeah,
Moment of silence for those who are not with us and couldn't be with us. Again, thanks for joining us. Be more for real.
let's go. Our young men crashing out early. What you think about that, Uncle Wayne?
Well,
60 years of experience on the
That's
face
why
of
I
this
said
earth.
60 years. And when you said crashing out early, it's a whole generation now. You know, it's not like one or two. It's like a whole generation. And it's generation what is it called now? Generation X? Is it?
No, this is Generation Z.
That's why I say. That's why I want to say. So when it's Z, what X, Y, Z? Is that the end?
Well, you got Generation X, and then you got
This
know.
before, but after the Z,
They
I'm trying
just
to see what's
they
next.
just named it generations. I
'Cause
think
that's the
it started
end,
with
right?
the 1900s, if I'm not mistaken.
But is this the end now? I mean, if it's the Z, that's the end of the alphabet, right?
I mean, it's looking like the end. Everything it says on the end. You know, personally, I believe in the Bible, and you know, the Bible says we headed to the last days, and you know that's just what it is.
And
These the last days we
speaking
riding
of the
like
Bible,
soldiers.
real quick, remember that. Now, the things it said is going to happen at the end, it's going to show you it's going to be the end.
Right.
Some of the things it says, father against son, mother against daughter. Now, look at the crime that's going on in Baltimore. It's father against son, and it's mother against daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Then it said you wouldn't be able to know the weather. Look at the weather now. You don't know when, what, and then look at this fire. You ready
Right.
for this? Fire,
Mm-hmm.
where fire was chasing people. You know, people think fire burns slow. It was running people, you know, in Maui and that Hawaii. So you
Right.
get a chance to see how this weird weather and then these tornadoes and hurricanes everywhere where people haven't even heard of before, and it's happening more and more and more. So if those things said it's the end of the world, is those some of the signs, then there are some of the signs. But are we paying attention? Or we just gonna get a butt and say, "Oh man, it'll be all right. We can get over it, man. We'll go out there and do what I do." And if the end of the world is coming, we're so naive to take a chance to say, "This is the end, y'all. We better get it right."
That's an interesting stance as you take on as it is like the end of the world coming, because as well as our young men, as well as our young men and things like that crashing out, we have a lot of our young men that are waking up, that are coming out of that slumber. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's creating the trouble for the world. You know what I'm saying? Woe unto the day that black man thinks independently for himself and start to really do something out here to make a change. And you know what I'm saying? Things gonna pretty much open up.
We be in the lead, and the last generation is not. See, God said, "Oh, black men going to lead," and you know what's going to be? Oh, that last generation of hope.
Yeah.
I'm from the generation of hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because right now, I don't see any hope, any changes, any peace. I see us at each other's throat on a regular basis. And then we was talking about a lot of times the crime that happens in Baltimore. When you really come to terms with what happened in that crime, you find out it's the pettiest thing.
Right.
But they actually took someone's life over something that petty.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show how dangerous we don't treasure a person's life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's the old deed.
You know what's crazy about it? So I'm not gonna mention any names or anything like that. I'm gonna just say that the person that was arrested, one of the persons that was arrested for the shooting that happened in Cherry Hill, where like 29, 30 people got shot, at least
In
two
Brooklyn.
people. Yeah, at least two people got killed in like South Baltimore. The one of the suspects, and they got his face online too. He was actually 18 years old.
18.
We talking about our young men crashing out early. Yo, this man was 18 years old.
And the other one was 17. The one that they wanted to charge, but for certain things was 17.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of our young men crashing out early, and I mean,
So
like the quote say, to the grave and to the prisons. So crashing out early, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because somebody told me to explain what crashing out means. So crashing out actually means to go off of the deep end. You know what I'm saying? Go off on the deep end on a hood level, or on a more layman's terms, to crash out early means to throw away your life.
To not give a
To throw away your life. And so some people crash out old. You know, we just heard stories about the judge that killed his wife and all that other stuff, and called the police station like somebody or one of the government officials like, yo, I just killed my wife or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He crashed out old. He crashed out way old. You know what I'm saying? He probably gonna do the rest of his days in jail. He was like 70, 80 years old. Killed his wife. But you know what I'm saying? These young men are crashing out early. We talking about 16, 17, 18. You know the story with Dante Harris that was got accused of and convicted guilty actually of running over that cop that was in Baltimore County. I believe her name was Amy Capricio, something like that. Don't quote me on that. Her name was like Amy or something. Excuse me if I got the name wrong. But however, you know what I'm saying? These young men are crashing out early. You got they're not even 25 yet, for God's sake.
All right, listen to this. When we hear these horrific crimes that's being perpetrated, I like to know why. Why was it done? Even down to the child that was 6 years old who shot the teacher. I want to know why. Do we ever ask why? Why do the children do what they do? You know what? They're probably in that situation the way they are because us as adults never ask them why. We don't ask them why. You know what we do? We tell them to do what we want them to do and not to talk back or to, snap back. So how do we know how young people feel if we don't give them a chance to tell them how we feel? Only time we see the results of them, as you say, what do you call it? Crashing out. You
out.
see the results of them crashing out on a regular basis. Are they crashing out or they just had enough? Don't care. If no one loving them, why should they love anyone back? You get it? If you grew up with no genuine, unconditional love, how do you know how to love people back?
Right.
You kind of getting what you give.
Right. Appreciate you, brother Rob, tuning in. Definitely appreciate you, man.
What's up with you? We need those comments.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you. We would like if anybody that's on YouTube, on Facebook, can go over to YouTube and follow us on YouTube at Be More For Real Podcast and help us grow that channel. That would greatly be appreciated. And also, while you're on YouTube, if you don't mind, while you're on Facebook, if you don't mind sharing the video as well, so we can get them viewers up. You know what I'm saying? Our goal is to get 100 subscribers by the end of September. So let's help us do it. Please give us that due diligence of just hitting that subscribe button. Whether you like the conversation or not, that mic is open for you to even express that opinion.
And if you don't like the conversation, that's even more to give your opinion. Listen, wise men don't always agree. We had to learn how to get along when we don't agree. We have to have a conversation. But if all of us had the same opinion, that wouldn't make sense. But we have to be able to discuss our differences. And especially us as black men, I bring that all the time because that's I ride for. Because if we get it right, the jig is up. Just imagine if we pull together and get it right, we will be unstoppable. We excel in everything we do, damn near. But we stop believing in ourselves when people stop believing in us. That's where we fall short. If we believe in God, see the difference? Because we start believing in people, because people will always let you down. That's just life. I'm 60. I'm going to learn people, humans let you down. So when you put all your faith in humans and they let you down, you let yourself down and you don't care. If you put your faith in God, he shows you how to really get it done. Because he shows you you're not like any other one he created. No one is like any other one he created. His uniqueness is none of us the same. All of us have a role, a part to play.
Right.
So I can't tell you who you should be. You got to let me know who you are. You see the difference of the two?
Right.
So the young ones never get a chance to express who they are. Then how we going to get to know what's going on? Why are you so angry? Why? Remember I said this, why your relationships don't last? Why when y'all like each other, you hit, beat, and talk to each other like dogs, and you really like each other. That's the part. You know when the young ones, let's say my nephews, when they like a female, it's like it's aggressiveness. I hear you talking about her like a dog, but you like her. I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
bit confused on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't get out who they are, so they hold it inside and become someone else, tell me. I mean, you're closer to the younger ones than I am. Talk to
Mm-hmm.
me. Tell me, what do you think about it?
Cause Ray, I appreciate you. I appreciate the comment,
Oh,
man. What's
yeah,
up
get
with
it
you,
in.
man? Appreciate you tuning in for real. My fam show up and show out. You know how we do for real. We stay true like glue. You feel me? Let's go. But as far as the young men crashing out, like for me, I think it's a mixture of both circumstances and also entertainment. So let me tell you why I say that.
Mm,
Because a lot of times people are products of their own environment.
that's true facts.
You understand what I'm saying? Especially children. You talking about children coming up under certain environments and certain conditions. I mean, like most of us really do come from nothing and make something. You know what I'm saying? Most of us really do. You know what I'm saying? We don't have everything. We come from some grimy places. You know what I'm saying? Where half the people we know are dead before we even grown. Type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Baltimore.
that's the unfortunate, ugly truth. You feel what I'm saying? So like, and I think that part of it is systemic. We can use that and say, okay, yeah, racism, okay, it's affecting the black people in this way in this condition because we're brought up in poverty, and uh, uh, there's a preschool to prison pipeline. So when you brought up in these certain conditions and there's no way out, a lot of times you're not going to make it any way out. Um, and then there's the other side of it where we have the music and entertainment, whereas though the only people that's being glorified out here, the rappers, the actors, you name it, the artists of any type of
Sports.
artistries, sports, and some of them, you know, like Ja Morant with the gun flashing and all that stuff. Like these are things that we glorify. It gets much attention in our community. So it's like we shooting ourselves in the foot, and we also are being systemically held down, which makes it like a twofold thing. Like it's from all sides. It's from all ways around. And my whole thing is that it's hard to say that some people use that the white man keeping me down as a crutch, you know what I'm saying? When sometimes it could be true, you know what I'm saying? When you go into the bank making deposits or whatever, when you step into certain type of areas, yeah, maybe that could be true, you know what I'm saying? But then it's other people that play that card, you know what I'm saying? They play that race card like it's a white man, and no, nigga, it's you. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't look in the mirror and see that it's you. That everywhere you go, you just it's just the same thing. Like everybody ain't like that. The common denominator is you. So I think it goes hand in hand with all of that. So the reason why our young men are crashing out so early is because there is no guidance. I mean, there is none. The music industry and TV is raising us, and it's been raising us for a long time. It's actually been raising us since the television been prevalent in every household in America. What we had to look up to was the Good Times and all of them TV shows and Sanford and Son, and we had to learn from them. You understand what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, and I'm about to give y'all some Jews. I'm about to drop some Jews on you that a wise man once told me is that art imitates life, and life imitates art. So in order for things on TV to appeal to you in reality, right? They have to have some type of they have to try to kind of mimic what goes on in reality, be it the cards, personalities, society. They have to mimic something that we can relate to in some type of capacity. So we got the things that's in art, like cartoons, trying to be as much real life as possible as they can, as much to real life as possible as they can. And then we have the people that's in real life trying to be as much like these cartoons and fictional characters that don't even exist. We're trying to be so much like them. So it's like a weird dichotomy. And I don't even know if you can call it a dichotomy. It's more like a synthesis or something.
I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea what you just said. That word went straight over my head.
Yeah,
But
so in long story short, short story even shorter, I'm just thinking that the two sides is it's almost like quantum mechanics. You can be off and on at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? and that breeds confusion and all that. But what I'm saying is, there's no structure, there's no order. When we look at the way that things are made, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything is done in order and in decency, and that's how everything exists.
But
Anything that's out of order don't work.
Do them young ones have any order?
They don't.
They're out of control. And listen, what we giving them. Let's go to school. Let's look at the young ones in school. Look what we're teaching them. Do you see? That's what I'm saying. We don't cater to the young children like we should. Even when they say you want to do this, we force them to be something that we want them to be. Let's say, for example, when we put them in school, already from pre-K, they are preparing them for college. Who are you to prepare that child for college? You don't have the right. You don't have the right to pick and choose for that child. People say, "Oh, they're my child." Listen, your mother and father don't own you. You don't own your children. They're loners. God loaned you them so you'll be the guidance. And the best way to be the guidance is to be an example. Instead of telling your children what to do, you be the best that you are. Then they have an example to look up to. Stop telling them what to do when your life is all mixed up. Because kids are not dumb these days. When we talked about the Santa Claus thing, when you first tell a young child there's a Santa Claus, you give them the whole story. Oh, you got to be good. You looking at, oh, you got to be good. You go through the whole thing and you're looking them in the eye and you're telling them there is a Santa Claus. But I said, you forgot when that child came to you, when they realized it wasn't the Santa Claus and they asked you about it. You don't even remember that. That's why I told most people you don't remember. You know why you don't remember? Because your child looked in your eyes and came up with their conclusion about you right then and there. Because if you're looking in their eyes, telling them it is a Santa Claus, and then you have to look in their eyes the same way, and there is no Santa Claus, see, that's when it is, when children learn into this, and then become their own person.
You know what's crazy? I
Think
think
about it.
I think we got to question what is real, because when you look at it, that's a question I wanted to ask that too. Or I just wanted to post that. I should say I just wanted to make a statement, which really poses a question in other people's mind. I'm like Dane Calloway, you know what I mean? I'm here to make you think. But look, what is real? Because let me give you an example. So we living in real life and reality, or what we would suppose is real. However, we have social media. We got YouTube, Instagram,
So
Facebook,
on, so on, so on.
so on and so forth. And we have this like virtual community, which is seems kind of real. You understand what I'm saying?
Their realness.
Yeah.
It's real for them.
Right. But I mean, is it real or is it not? Is it fake or is it not? Because me as a data technician and what I've been through as a data tech, I happen to know that the internet is actually a physical place. It's actually a physical thing. Now I'm about to learn y'all something. I'm about to teach y'all something as well. The internet, I'm gonna say it again, the internet is a physical thing. We may think it's virtual because you can connect and do wireless and do everything that we can do wireless, but trust and believe me, the internet is yet and still a physical thing. There are wires and things like that that connect all of these features together that has to be connected in a web like pattern, which is why they call it the internet in a web like pattern, and that's where you get your your network. That's where you get your network from. So is the internet real or is it not real? I mean, to me, the internet is not real on a literal sense. But also on that same token, like I was just telling you, the internet is a literally physical place. It's a physical, literal thing that people don't even think about. The internet is literally physical and literal. So it's like a twofold thing, and that is the wildest thing ever. So like that's why I think people get mixed up and confused with reality and virtuality. You know what I'm saying? Because those stuff to me is virtual, and virtuality is not reality. But I think they're trying to like blur the lines between virtuality and reality to try to create another universe. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother discussion. But we are confused nonetheless about the basics and the foundations. And this is why our black men, our young black men, are crashing out because we confused on the very basic levels. Black men don't know how to sign these deals. They don't know who they sign to, like Blueface and stuff like that. They get in the industry with these people. They do not know how to conduct business on that type of scale, and you don't know that the money that they're giving you, the record label or whatever, that's a front, or they're giving you that money like they lending it to you, and you got to give them that money back and on the back end. So they're getting back ends off of you, and I just know that we're undereducated as black men, and that's why we're crashing out early.
And the young ones, I agree with you, but you can't blame someone who doesn't know. If you don't know, you can't be blamed. You blamed after you know. Us as me, I'm 60 years old. We dropped the ball. We dropped the baton. Let's say in a relay race, we dropped the baton. We didn't pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
As men my age, we messed up so bad. We didn't like how our parents. Let me give you a problem. We didn't like our parents were bowing down to white folks. This is true. I'm against white folks. Don't take this the wrong way, but this was the truth. I lived on Lombard Street as growing up. On one side, it were whites, and one side were black. You don't get caught on either side. It was on. So I had one of these brothers that like white girls and like it is. So he crossed the line on a regular basis. So he would run back to our house and bring them. They were all chasing back across that level. So I know how time moves, things change, but us as blacks need to stand up and say it's okay to be black. But watch this. When I say black men, most black men look at me and look around like, do I say white men? Because first of all, you got to be proud of who you are. Mm-hmm. If you're proud of who you are, then you can get to the next level. Mm-hmm. The young ones are not proud of who they are because they are great, but if they don't play basketball or sports and they're not a rapper, they're not considered, like you were saying earlier, they're not considered important. Mm-hmm. Well, how crazy is that? Or the other way, where you go to their college and all the way up to your PhD.
Right.
Do you understand?
Hey, I was hearing this talk by Jordan Peterson, right? And he was talking about how, teenagers have a hard time coping with society and everything like that because a teenager's main job is to fit in. When you go through elementary school or middle school, you know what I'm saying, you're still learning yourself and all this stuff. But by high school, you know what I'm saying, teenagers just try to fit in. And the problem occurs, I think, psychologically with a lot of people is that when you do not know how to fit in society at that point, you know what I'm saying? And not just not knowing how to fit in society, but how society ostracizes you for not being a part of society and fitting in a way that they can accept. So people spend a lifetime clout chasing. And I think that the people that are famous are the greatest example of these people. I think they will go out their way to clout chase, you know what I'm saying, just to be accepted. And the moment that these people are not accepted, then they lose sight of who they are because that's never who they were to begin with.
You know who I got power for? You know the one who just now, the fastest female in the world.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Just the one that race.
Yeah.
I am so proud of her. She put that power.
Shout out Sha'Carri Richardson, yeah. Power. Fastest woman in the world.
We love it.
Shout out Sha'Carri.
And she decided not to interview with any white folks at all because of how they treated her. Just like Fox 45, which is the main one, and their parent company, whatever. How they expose us, they use us, they get the ratings off of us, but they really don't care nothing about us. And how they did her, they really did because of that weed thing with the vape thing. They made her that feeling. And like
she smoked weed and still dusted them. She smoked every girl in the division too. She smoked every girl in the world too.
So all you haters, have a blunt and sit down.
For real.
You know what I mean?
For real.
So it go to show we are powerful. And the others are Kaepernick, what is his name?
Colin Kaepernick, yeah.
That's another one that need to be appreciated from us. This man sacrificed all this money to kneel on and to kneel down against all of what was going on with this police brutality. But do we stick behind him, calling them names? And I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Now, see, that was a mixed thing. And I think that's why black men are crashing out too. And that's a great point that you brought up because you got the NFL was 90, or not 90, I think around 70% black. So most of the players that play in the NFL are black. So when you're talking about canceling the NFL and you got mostly black people on there, I mean, like, how are you still supporting black people while you canceling black people that's trying to make a living doing what they doing? You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's counterproductive. And that's why that's why the number one reason why black people and young black men are crashing out is because of the lack of guidance, because the lack of black ownership. Period. Not just by black men,
true,
black women, but black
ownership.
People, black ownership. Yeah. We don't own, excuse me. We don't own things. We do not own things. You know what I'm saying? We can't just say we can't say, all right, son or daughter, I know you ain't doing the best in your situation or whatever, but I got a job for you. This is what you can do. If the most you can do is drive me to my goddamn locations and all this other stuff, I'm gonna make sure I can put you on payroll so that this company can continue pumping the money through our family. You understand what I'm saying?
Opportunity.
If you can't do nothing else but write, I'm gonna make sure you can write and do something for the betterment of our family. I think it's just too much unhealthy competition because you see other black men, you see other black people, you know what I'm saying, on TV and you hear them, you know what I'm saying? This is what we see every day. And the problem is that's not what we see every day. Every day what we see is everybody broke, everybody struggling, everybody need a dollar, everybody need to work overtime. This is what we see every day. But what we see every day on TV does not reflect what goes on in real life. And that's why I had to keep telling my sons that all the time. I tell them, like, look, if you seen on TV, you seen on that, chances are it's not real. Even reality TV is not reality. They got it on camera. It's not reality. It's so hard to really be real on camera.
Reality TV is scripted.
Let me tell you why it's so hard to be real on camera. Because you incriminate yourself. A lot of times, people are breaking freaking laws. And when you got it on camera, you did the rights. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real, America. Let's be real. Let's be more for real about the situation.
And be more for real. All right, our solution now. What are our solutions to the young brothers that's crashing and just not caring and out there doing the most?
My solution.
What's the solution?
My solution to our
solution, y'all. Come on with the comments.
My solution to our black men in America is to work, not to scam. See, it's the difference between scamming and Amazon? Robbing. It's to work. It don't matter who you work for. You best to be the best worker. You gotta have some type of skill. You gotta be of some type of value to society. And if you're not, then society is gonna show you what you worth. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to go out in society and question where you at. When you walk out that door every day, when you put your clothes on, however you wake up every day, society gonna dictate to you what they think of you and how they value you.
Sure fact.
So we have to prove our value through skill, education, and labor, so that we could improve ourselves. And everybody's skills is not the same. Some people might be good, like I said, at freaking sweeping the floor, but or whatever. Whatever the case may be.
Man, my fault. Remember I said we dropped the baton? Imagine if we, instead of being angry at everyone, if we would have opened some doors and opened some opportunities for the young ones to come through, then it will be even less harder for the teenagers out there having no identity to who they are. It would have been able to have something. That's where we are. We need some opportunities. Brothers got to believe in themselves. They got to believe we're someone. I understand when they don't believe in anything and they don't have nobody believing in them, they just don't care. I guess you call it what you say, crashing out early. They just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And they're crashing out early on somebody else's vehicle because 9 times out of 10, they done lift that up off of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Carjacking is out of control because, listen, if men were in their life, watch this. If men were there, our black men were there, they would say by the time you were 15 and 9 months, you better work on that permit because when you 16 and there, you get a first car, or when you graduate from high school, you get a first car. Then they will look forward to that. They don't have that. That's why they're getting the car now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to graduate because school is not set up for them. It's set up for failure.
Right.
You know, I'm a black man. I'm 60. I'm looking at school now. It's set up for failure. It's set up for failure. Let's say, for example, if I got other skills than reading and writing and arithmetic, if I have other skills, if I go through school, they're not going to recognize any of them skills unless I can read and write or do math. We're going through a school and we only put certain things in kids and they got so many other skills. We don't know nothing about them skills because the only skills we want to know is how well they can read and write. We adapt to them. Like a kid go to school and they good at reading and writing and math, we gravitate to them. And they are just good at reading, writing, and math. They are not going to be a leader. They never have nothing now. But some of the other ones who are not good at reading and math are going to be the greatest leader of all time. But we ignore them because they can't read and write. Those curriculums wasn't set by no black man. That was white men measuring how intelligent you are. If us black men lead, we wouldn't have that test. Let me give you a prime example. If a black man set a test for a PhD, a person graduate PhD, top of the line, we put our test of who we are as black men and what we've been through, they will fail that test miserable. Do you see? We got to get to know who we are and make our young black men proud of who they are. Whether how well you read and write has nothing to do with it. We're going to work on your other skills, because they need to be successful. They need to know they have a future. They're going to take care of children. They got females in there. They want to be successful too. Everybody ain't going to work for Amazon or what's that other place in order to make a living. That doesn't make sense. That's why I said as black men, at 60, I hold accountability for dropping the baton. So we're going to pick that baton up, pass it to you, and what you going to do?
We're going to light the torch again.
Yeah, I'm going to pass the baton to you, and you're going to pass it to...
We're going to light the torch again, and we're going to pass it to the next one.
Listen, you're the man to show the next one, so I just had to abide by your rules.
We're lighting the torch again, you know what I'm saying? Carrying that torch.
I'm passing the baton. You see? I'm doing it. I'm doing what's right.
And sending that ladder back down. And that's how we grow as a civilization as well, too. That's very interesting to look at it. Oh, we overtime for that one, but we appreciate y'all for that conversation, man. We're gonna go to the next one, and we appreciate y'all. Remember to